Hello and welcome. I'm so excited to talk about today's project, which is that inner nagging voice we all suffer from. What is going on? Why do we react with so much emotion to this voice, this internal dialogue that seems to run the show? Well, first of all, you just can't think your way out of the confined circus that is this nagging voice. You know, those affirmations that say, I am beautiful, I am at peace. And then you open your eyes and you're like, well, I don't feel at peace. I'm not beautiful. I'm not healthy. Well, what's happening? Right? Well, these don't work because you have to first change your physiology, your behaviors, your patterns before anything else. And that's the question of today's video. Why? Well, there's an incongruency happening between the affirmations of I am beautiful, I am at peace, I am healthy, and your behaviors. So, for example, you're telling yourself, I'm healthy, I'm healthy, I'm healthy. And then you go eat Fruit Loops and you have a cigarette. There's an incongruency happening there because your body unconsciously is picking up on the negative effects of eating the Fruit Loops and having the cigarette, right? These are foreign artificial stimuli to the body that cause stress. The body doesn't know what to make of the Fruit Loops because in all of our evolution, when have we ever eaten Fruit Loops or these processed foods? The body doesn't utilize the Fruit Loops because there's no real nutrition in that. And so the body is stressing more when we put those things in our body. And the body gives you signals. You crash after you eat it. You just don't feel energized. You feel lethargic. You're just not feeling that great. And notice that because the body's sending you signals. And so when you eat that stuff or when you do behaviors that are short-lived and that are artificial and that cause negative outcomes, well, you're going to get that effect, right? And you might not consciously notice it because you're so used to it, but the effects are real. And so there's an incongruency happening when you say, I'm beautiful, I'm at peace, I am healthy, and you're doing behaviors that are just not facilitating your higher self or not working with your body, but against your body, you're not going to get the results you're looking for, right? And so the best way to look at this is to look at the story of Pinocchio, right? In the story of Pinocchio, we see Pinocchio, he's a wooden marionette, which means he's not an individual, but he's being controlled by unseen forces. That's really interesting to think about. Now, his conscience is a cricket that's a bumbling fool who's dressed like a tramp, and he's spouting off words he doesn't even understand, and then Pinocchio doesn't even understand. So the cricket is uneducated and, well, I guess just leave it at that, uneducated. And so the cricket is Pinocchio's inner voice. That's what he represents. And it's interesting because Jiminy Cricket is a southern slang for Jesus Christ, by the way, which is worth thinking about. So the inner voice is JC, Jesus Christ, which is no coincidence. Now, Pinocchio is this unconscious, automated, underdeveloped puppet who's guided forward in life by this uneducated, unconscious, automated conscience. So they're both on the same wavelength. And so as Pinocchio ventures out into the unknown, so he ventures away from his father, Geppetto, he goes out into the world and he starts to stumble forward and develop in some way. we see that the further away he gets from his father, the more he develops, and at the same time, the more the cricket develops. And as Pinocchio's progressing, Pinocchio is having more of a wrestling match with his inner voice as he's going out into the world. So what's so cool about this is that you can view yourself as Pinocchio, and and having the inner voice being the cricket, right? If you stay where you are right now, and if you're not getting the results you're looking for, if things are not working, going your way, if you feel stuck in this bitterness, resentfulness, well, you have to move outside of that familiar territory so that you can find the answers, so that you can move further away from your dependencies, from the strings, right? And that's what happens in Pinocchio. The further he moves away, the more real he gets, but at the same time, his conscience develops. That's so fascinating. So they're both developing at the same time, but it's through Pinocchio's actions that facilitates the conscience development. I'll repeat that. It's through Pinocchio's actions that facilitates the conscience development. So if you stay where you are in your dependencies and your confined space, how is the inner voice going to change? Right? By saying, I am beautiful, I am beautiful, I am at peace, I am at peace? No, there's an incongruency. You have to change your patterns. You have to change your lifestyle choices. So you have a choice. You can stay where you are and continue to listen to that internal voice, that 8-year-old child, or sacrifice lifestyle choices and change your behaviors to show the internal voice that you're not worth listening to. So would you listen to an 8-year-old child who comes up to you and says, this bad thing is going to happen to you? Would you listen to that child? No, you wouldn't. You would be like, you're an 8-year-old child. So what is happening there? Why are you listening to this underdeveloped, uneducated internal voice? That's what it is. It's underdeveloped, uneducated, and you're reacting to it like it's some almighty being that's going to grant you your every wish. Well, it's coming from the ego, right? The ego is who you think you are. So the voice, the 8-year-old voice, is coming from the ego of the ego, which is who you think you are. So you think the voice is who you are, and so you react to the voice in such a manner, right? This is who I am. Oh my God, why would I think that? It's personal, right? And it's because it's coming from the ego. The voice causes negative emotion without there being any challenge. We can challenge the internal voice, and we see that in the Pinocchio story. Pinocchio wrestles with that cricket throughout the movie because the cricket's like, oh, you probably shouldn't do that, Pinocchio. And Pinocchio's like, no, I'm going to do it anyways. And he starts to bypass the resistance of that voice, the voice that wants you to go on the path of least resistance. So challenge your current mode of being, and you challenge the internal dialogue. That's it. So short-lived behaviors push your tolerance level. Short-term behaviors push your tolerance level and keep you stuck in its grasp, because short-term behaviors like porn or junk food, sugar, or social media, or Netflix, or negative toxic relationships, they're short-lived with long consequences attached to them. And we're getting extreme dopamine spikes because of those artificial stimuli that our ancestors never had. When did they ever see hundreds of naked women on a computer screen, or sit behind a computer desk at work, or eat Ritz crackers? Never. So why do you think now that it's good for us to consume those things? And they're made in a way where it keeps you hooked because of the massive dopamine spike you get from it, thus increasing your tolerance level and thus keeping you battling that level further and further and further, because you get the feeling, oh, this isn't good enough. This isn't good enough. I need to get more of it. I need to get more of it. But long-lived behaviors like meditation, walks in nature, reading, those behaviors, why they're long-lived is that they give back to the system. The body likes these things because it's like hugging our genes, right? We're doing things that's just naturally good for us, right? It's naturally good to go out into the sun and put your feet in the grass or go for a hike. We've been doing that forever. It's naturally good to eat whole foods like meat and eggs, right? We've been doing that forever, right? And, well, you understand the idea where the effects of those things are long-lived. You're going to feel the benefits. They're going to serve you, and your body uses it as energy. Like when I eat meat and eggs, my body is like fueled up, ready to go. I don't crash. I don't get that 2 p.m. hitting of the wall. I'm literally awake and energized the whole day because my body is like, this is what I need. This is what is required for me to function. And so at the end of the Pinocchio story, as Pinocchio moves out into the world, he goes on into these crazy adventures, he rescues his father, he becomes a real boy. And by the end of the movie, his conscience is wearing fancy clothes, he gets a gold star from the fairy godmother, and the cricket is self-actualized. He's no longer a tramp-like figure wearing dirty clothes, spouting off ideologies. The cricket is now educated. He doesn't speak words that make him feel weak. He's braver, stronger, reliable. There's a connection between Pinocchio and the cricket by the end of the movie, whereas at the beginning there's no vibe happening, there's no connection, there's no like the anxiety sufferer, there's no real dialogue with their true selves. They don't even know who they are. They don't sit with themselves. They're not comfortable in their own skin. And, well, you see this imbalance within someone who's suffering. And so to conclude this video, you change your behaviors first. You sacrifice behaviors that no longer serve you one at a time, small goals. You want to sacrifice the sugar, you want to sacrifice, the caffeine, you want to sacrifice the toxic relationship. That's up to you to define and to figure out, but start one at a time, and you'll realize that the more you do this, the more you move away from this current way of being, this anxious way of being, and you end up feeling better and less anxious and more in tune with your internal world and who you are and what you like and don't like, and you have more of a dialogue with yourself, and you're more independent as a person rather than being dependent on the things around you in your safe, confined space. So if you're suffering from strong negative thoughts, look to your behaviors first. And that's where I'm going to leave you on today's video. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope that it gave you a lot of information that is useful for your journey towards your higher self. Leave your comments below. What did you learn? What are you currently sacrificing that has shown to be beneficial for your health and mental health? Do not let anxiety define who you are. I will see you on the next video. Bye for now. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and that bell so that whenever a new video of mine appears, you will be one of the first to know. Namaste.